NBA 2K26 is right around the corner, and I have kept up on every single bit of news so that I could make my 2K26 build early. Now, we don't have access to the 2K26 builder yet, but there has been people that have done comparisons between the NBA 2K25 builder and the 2K26 builder, and attribute-wise, they're looking pretty similar. I can get a great idea of what build I want to start out the game on, and also give that to you guys so you're more informed and you're not starting out the year with a bad build. Now, in this video, I've taken into consideration all the information we have from 2K and every creator that has posted a video. I promise I've kept up on everything. I'm going to be talking about where I'm going to use my cat breakers, my max plus twos, and even which category I'm going to focus on specialization in. We have so much information about 2K26 already, and in this video, I'm going to be targeting a two-way slashing playmaker type of build, and that's also what I'm going to try to do right in the beginning of the year. Not wasting any more time though, let's get into these attributes and break down exactly what I'm going to do to try to make the best day one build in NBA 2K26. Alright, so since we do not have access to the NBA 2K26 builder yet, we are going to be putting this together in the NBA 2K25 builder. I have a ton of knowledge on everything that we're going to be able to see in 2K26. I've watched all the videos, kept up on all the information so you guys don't have to, and today I'm going to be giving you my best guess, not my best guess, my best interpretation of what my build is going to look like as soon as I get my hands on NBA 2K26. So first off, you see the first name, you see the last name, go down, hit that sub button, drop a like for me. Right-handed really doesn't matter, but this is, I'm going to go ahead and continue. We are going to go point guard because I do want to make a point guard next year. That's just what I want to start out the year on. I feel like as soon as the faster in the year that I get good at point guard, I just understand the game so much better. I will be the test dummy. I'll figure out the jump shots for everybody, figure out the dribble moves. So make sure you guys are staying tuned for that. But I am going to go ahead and go height 6'4". I think it's tall enough to play defense. And I do want to go for that two-way slashing playmaker type of build. I've seen Uncle Demi talk about it quite a lot. And I think a build that you go heavy on defense, playmaking, and finishing early on in the year is always going to be solid. We don't know how the shooting is going to be quite yet, but I am going to go a little bit lower on three-pointer. Still get a pretty solid 3 on this build, but I'm going to go a little bit lower. I'll talk about that more here in a minute, but you guys will see. Height 6'4", weight 201 pounds. I want to be able to play good, solid defense on this build, and then almost a max wingspan at 6'11" here. I'm going to go ahead and max that, or go to max, knock it down 1 tick, so I can still get that 89 three-point shot. This all looked very, very similar from the builder news that we saw the other day. So these max attributes should all be pretty similar in NBA 2K26. There's some people like Zach2K and a couple others that have done comparisons between the 2K25 builder and 2K26. And like I said, very, very similar. It looks like they just tweaked it, upgraded it, updated it. We will be seeing more as we get more information. But yeah, this is the height, weight, wingspan that I'm going to go with starting out 2K26. So let's get right into our attributes here, and I will break down exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing, where I'm going to use my max plus twos, my cat breakers, and everything like that. All right, so starting out in the finishing category here, we are going to go with an 87 driving dunk. So the contact dunk animations this year were at 87. But and next year they are also going to be at 87 with a slight change to vertical. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But that 87 driving dunk is going to go ahead and give us silver posterizer, get us a lot of the contact dunk animations. It'll get us the small contact dunks as well as the pro contact dunks. We have the small and the pro on this build. And then we're going to go ahead and go with an 80 driving layup. I really like the idea of the custom layups next year, so I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of that. Give us an 80 driving layup. And then our standing dunk is going to go at a 32 here, and then a 42 post control. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this build, and then I will talk to you guys about my max plus twos and my cat breakers and everything like that. So just stay tuned, watch how I upgrade it, and then we'll talk about that right after. My three-point shot is going to go up to 84. This will be changing like I was just talking about. But starting out on 2K26, which there is a pure green window, I'm anticipating it's going to be a little bit easier to shoot. If you time your stuff right, you're not going to get hit with RNG anymore. So I'm very confident in my ability to start out the year with an 84 three-pointer, and then maybe bump that up with some cat breakers as we go on. But we will be starting out with bronze deadeye, bronze limitless range, silver set shot specialist, 74 mid-range is also not bad. And if you guys saw how the cat breakers work in NBA 2K26, we might be able to bump this up even higher with just a few cat breakers, get that into the mid 80s with maybe 2 or 3 cat breakers. Free throw, I'm going to go ahead and bump that right up to a 62, and that's going to sit right there. Again, that's another one. You could use 1 cat breaker and get like 15 attribute points on it, but I think 62 is going to be plenty enough because we do have that pure green window on the free throws as well. Put on Michael Jordan or Curry and just time your free throw. It's not going to be that difficult. Free throws are never that bad. For the pass accuracy, like I said, I want to be a two-way slashing playmaker. I want to be able to set up my teammates All year this year, you didn't need a super high pass accuracy, and I didn't hear them talk about a huge change to passing. I am going to start out at a 75 rating. Like I said, I'll be the test dummy if it doesn't end up working out, but I'm feeling pretty confident with a 75 rating. We do get silver break starter and silver dimer, and we can even max +1 or max +2 those. I personally am not going to be, but we'll talk about where I'm going to put those in a minute. Ball handle, I'm going to go to a 92. I'm assuming there will be a few animations locked behind 95, but again, I could throw a few cap breakers on here if I needed to, if there's a really good animation up there. But 92 ball handle gets us the gold playmaking badges, and it's honestly more than enough as long as Steve Francis or something really, really good isn't locked behind 95, which then I could just use 3 cap breakers and go ahead and get it. Speed with ball, 86. This might be a little bit controversial. We get gold lightning launch. I'm assuming it's going to be the same threshold in NBA 2K26, but the reason for the 86 is because this is where I'm going to put one of my max +2 badges. And I know the specialization ones, the specialization max +2s are locked behind. You can only use it for categories with your specialization, which is not going to be playmaking in my example here. It is going to be my shooting, so I'm going to have max +2 that I can use strictly in shooting. But you do get 2 other max +2s if you guys saw the trailer the other day, and you also get 2 other max +1s. So one of my max +2s, it's getting a little confusing with all the 1s and 2s getting thrown around, but one of my max +2s I will be using on lightning launch to get this up to legend. So I will have legend lightning launch to go with an 86 speed with the ball. People are going to say they're worried about the dribble style I'm able to unlock. I used Kobe White. Later in the year, I switched to Darius Garland just because it was faster on my small guard, but I used Kobe White for most of the year, which is something you can get with the 86 speed of the ball, and it gives you a great cross launch. It gives you great speed boost animations. It's just a really good dribble style, and it was pretty slept on all year long. So if I have to go ahead and use that Kobe White again, I will go back to that. But legend lightning launch with the 86 speed of the ball is what I'm going to be trying to target. As far as interior defense, I want this build to play like a two-way slashing playmaker, and where two-way comes from is playing great on the defensive end. We're going to go with a 75 interior, which doesn't get us either of the interior defense badges in this game. I don't know if it will in next game, but even having that rating upgraded will help us a lot when it comes to getting stops in the paint. And then down to our perimeter defense here, we are going to go ahead and throw this on 92. Now 92 is going to go ahead and get us gold challenger, gold on ball, gold pick dodger, and Hall of Fame off ball pest. Very, very good defensive badges, and as a point guard, we are going to be locking up whoever we're guarding. I'm telling you that right now. Now defense is where I'm going to use some of my max +1s. There's other areas I'm going to use my max +2s, like I said. We'll talk about it at the end, but this is an area I could go ahead and throw on max +1 to get Hall of Fame on-ball menace or Hall of Fame challenger, something like that. I mean, it's just, there's a lot you can play around with, and it's very customizable, but this is, my defense is where I'm probably going to use my max +1s. I think in this scenario, I'd throw it on-ball menace to get that to Hall of Fame. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw the steal on a 91, which gets us both of the gold steal badges. And since Interceptor was reworked a little bit, they said, and made it a little bit better, apparently, according to Mike Wang, I'm going to go ahead and throw on another max +1 to get Hall of Fame Interceptor. So we have Hall of Fame defensive badges to go along with Hall of Fame playmaking badges and Hall of Fame shooting badges. I mean, this build is just going to turn out very, very well-rounded and a very solid guard, safe guard to start the year, in my opinion. As far as block, again, we want to get stops in the paint. We want to get good contests. So I'm going to go with that 68 block, bronze high flying denier, and we're just going to be getting a ton of stops on the defensive end of the court. That's all there is to say about it. As far as rebound, we started with 55. I'm going to bump that up to a 60 for bronze rebound chaser. And I think this is another category. If I have extra cat breakers at the end of the year, you can throw this on, and it's going to upgrade pretty quickly to get our rebound up if we feel like we want to grab more rebounds as a guard. Not super important to me, but it is something you can think about, start to think about as we get this builder news. Speed was extremely important in 2K25, and I think again it's going to be important in 2K26. 90 speed on this build. If you guys remember the two-way slashing playmakers from 2K20, very, very fast, very explosive, and we're going to go with a 90 speed to try to replicate that, as well as an 88 agility. It seems like they confirmed that agility is tied to motion styles next year, so having a high agility like this is going to help us unlock some of those better motion styles. This might change a little bit depending on what those caps are. I might upgrade this a little bit if I want to get a better motion style or something like that. But then strength, I am going to go ahead and go with a 71, which gets us bronze, a movable enforcer. Defense is one of my main priorities on this build, so I wanted to make sure I got at least bronze on that immovable enforcer. And then for our vertical, we do go with a 75. There we go. We do go with a 75 vertical because that is the threshold for those contact dunk animations next year. Like I said, we get pro and we get small. So this is going to be the build template that I try to start 2K26 with. It's bound to change a little bit, a few attributes here and there, but like I said, the build is looking very similar. So this is what I'm going to shoot for. Use this as a template if you're liking it. Like obviously I'll modify it how you want to, or where you want to put your max plus twos. But me personally, my max plus, or my cap breaker, my first 5 cap breakers, I'm going to have a lot of cap breakers next year. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to play the game a lot, but my first 5, I am going to specialize in shooting on this build. Shooting will be my specialization. I'm going to put this 3-point shot up to an 89, which is going to unlock all these badges up to like silver and gold. And then I'm going to max plus 2. I'm going to use 2 max plus 2s in my shooting category. I'm going to put 1 on set shot specialist, and I'm going to put 1 on shifty shooter, which these will both go to at least Hall of Fame at that point. I mean, set shot will go to legend and shifty will go to Hall of Fame. So that is going to make this build very, very consistent shooting along with great playmaking and great defense. I'm very happy with that. Some other cap breakers, like as I unlock them throughout the year, I'm assuming I'll end with like 10, 15. I think I have 18 this year. I'm assuming it'll be somewhere in that range. I'll probably end up throwing 3 on ball handle to get that to a 95 if there's good dribble moves behind that 95 rating. My third and final max plus 2 I will be using on lightning launch, like I had mentioned earlier, to have legend lightning launch. So we'll have legend shooting badges, legend playmaking badges, and then Hall of Fame defensive badges. I'm going to use my max plus 1s on ball menace and interceptor. And yeah, this build is looking very solid. I mean, we get contact dunks, we get, like I said, legend shooting badges, legend playmaking badges, or legend playmaking badges. Very solid defense. We're fast, we're athletic. This is just a very safe, fun build that I would personally start the year with in NBA 2K26. And obviously there's a lot more news to come out, so this is subject to change. But like I said, if you're liking it, use it as a template, switch it up how you want to. But let me know what you think of this down in the comments. One other thing I want to say, this shades of screen in NBA 2K26, there is over 4,200 new unique build names, which is going to be great. I mean, I loved back in the day when you could get a unique build name that you weren't seeing anymore. As you can see, this says two-way inside out ISO creator. They did confirm on Twitter that inside out has been removed in as many scenarios as possible just because it was so overused this year. So that's something I'm definitely looking at getting new, unique, fun, good build names next year. I'm very excited about that. But that is going to be the build that I'm trying to make in 2K26. I am going to have a ton of builds and content for you guys though. A whole bunch of lockdown videos, whole bunch of center videos. I'm going to have more guards. I'm going to try to get just as much unique gameplay as I can get out to you guys and hook you guys up with my lockdown builds because I know that's what you guys have been loving all year long. But let me know what you guys think of this down in the comments. Drop a like, drop a sub on your way out, and I will catch you in the next one.